Hi guys, this is Miss Cunningham, and I'm here to talk to you about something you might choose to do during flight time, which is read a book. So you should have just completed a reading autobiography. So basically you looked at all the different things that you have read in elementary and middle school, and maybe even in high school. So what I wanted to talk to you about was, at one point, you probably enjoyed reading. If you look at that reading autobiography, at some point, maybe it was children's books in elementary school, or maybe you found something cool like Goosebumps in middle school. But a lot of us, not all of us, but a lot of us stopped reading for fun in high school. So what happened? Why did that happen? There are a lot of reasons. Maybe your time limits have changed. Do you have other homework to do? Or there are other cool things to do, like spend time on the internet. But let's take a look at maybe why that's changed and how we can fix that. I think that too often we have all of our reading put into a box. Get it? It's a box. And so any reading you have to do for school is assigned and something that even if you might have enjoyed it if you read it on your own, you don't enjoy because it's been assigned to you. So here's an opportunity during flight time if you don't have other things to work on, or even if you do and you just want to do this anyway, here's an opportunity for you to read a book that you might actually enjoy. But why bother reading a book for fun in the first place? I'm sure you all could answer that for me. You've heard everything. Reading comprehension, vocabulary, you get smarter. You all know all those answers, that reading helps you get smarter, it helps you with everything. But maybe let's get a little more specific. So reading books that you choose as opposed to reading books that are just assigned to you, reading books that you choose and enjoy grows your strategy for tackling more difficult, boring, or assigned reading. So it's not just all of these things like reading comprehension, vocabulary, whatever. You can gain those things from assigned reading you have for class. But there's something special about books you actually enjoy. They can actually help you tackle those harder reading assignments. And I know this. Notice I provided a citation. This is from a book by a professor at UT who specializes in reading, and he has shown through various studies that this is true. Not just regular assigned reading, but books that you actually enjoy will help you with that harder reading. Additionally, it makes you a more empathetic, well-rounded, and interesting person. There is another study that I will have a citation for at the end that shows how reading can actually make you more empathetic. It can make you care about people more and actually understand the feelings of others more. And finally, it expands your horizons. So I'm sure if you know me, you know of my obsession with John Green. And John Green has stated this idea that I will also have a citation for at the end of educational cartography. And what he means by that is even if you are learning things that don't necessarily focus on whatever specific field you're interested in, for instance, health science, anything you learn is going to expand the map of your education. It's going to expand the places you could go. As high school students and even as adults, you may not know exactly what you want to do or where your career will take you. And reading more books, expanding your knowledge of possibilities, can expand the possibilities for your actual life. You can't actually do something if you don't know it exists, and reading books helps you with that. So, where can you actually get a good book? Well, first of all, you guys are lucky because in the Health Science Academy, you should have a health science bin in your flight time. And in that, there are a few books, but there's also this list. So there should be a list in your health science bin, and it's a pretty big list, almost 100 books. And it'll give you a picture of the cover, the title, and author and page count, and also a brief description. And then finally, which teacher in health science has that book in their room. So if you look through this list, and the book that you want, you find a book that you like, but it's not in your room, then you can just ask your teacher and they will come talk to me and I can obtain that book for you most likely. But really, what's even better than that is that mostly all of these books are probably also in the library. So how do you look for a book in our library? You all probably know this, but I'm going to show you just in case. So you can go to our website. All right, here's our Hardin Valley website, and go to the Library Media Center. And the first thing you will see is this home page, and then you can click Electronic Resources. And our HVA library catalog right here is called Atrium. So if you click on that, that'll bring you to the site where you can look up and see if there's a book in our library. So for instance, if you see that you want a copy of Paper Towns and I don't have it available in the bin that you're looking at, just type it in. And you'll see that we have a copy in the library. So there you go. You can come down and you can check out a copy of a book that you want. So it's very simple. But how do you know that you actually want one of the books in the library? How do you find a book that you actually like? Well, there are several different ways to do this. One, you just filled out a list of things you've read in the past, and even if they're a little young for you, there might be some ways to look at those and see what else you might like. So first, talk to a friend. That's always my favorite way to find a new book, is to get a recommendation from a friend. So even maybe at the end of flight time, talk to the people around you about your reading autobiography and see if you have any common interest in books, and see if they might have read something that you haven't read that you'd be interested in. Next, talk to a librarian or to me. So all the librarians and myself, have read a lot of these books that may be interesting to you. We specifically go out of our way to read books that might be interesting to you. So make sure you ask us, and whatever thing you are interested in, whatever types of movies you're interested in or activities you like to do, we can probably find you a book that would match those. And if you don't like talking to people because you like dwelling on the internet like I do, here's a way to get some good recommendations without actually physically having to talk to someone. So this website is called goodreads.com. So let's take a look at it. Maybe. So this is my Goodreads account. You can sign in and create your own account. And I like to think of Goodreads as a Facebook/Netflix for books. So you get updates from your friends. Usually you could, if you sign in with Facebook, your friends that are on Facebook that are also on Goodreads automatically are uploaded. So you can see different friends I have that have put books on here. You can keep track of your own books by clicking My Books. Let's see what mine does. So you can see different books that I have read. We'll click on the red shelf. What's really cool about this site is that you can create different shelves. So I'm currently reading a to-read shelf, so any books that you want to mark in order to read. So here's a list of books that I've read recently. You can get that. What's really cool, if you're kind of a nerd like I am, is you can click Stats, and it'll show you how many books you've read in different years, how many pages, and publication year. So you get a nice plot diagram of different things you've read, scatter plot, I guess. There's one really old book I read. But what's best about this is recommendations. So you click on recommendations, and you can get recommendations from your friends. You can see what they're reading and see what they like. But also, here's the Netflix aspect of it. So if I categorize the books I read, I put them in and I rate them based on how much I like them. And this site will give me recommendations based on the books that I've already said I like. So it's giving me recommendations in classics, in contemporary, fiction, historical fiction, and on and on. Here's a specific one for my young adult literature shelf. I've organized some of my books into specific shelves like young adult literature, graphic novels, and it'll give me recommendations based on that specific one. Also based on my favorites. You can pick favorites, kind of again just like on Netflix, and it'll offer suggestions. One of my other favorite features of this site is Explore, and it's a really good way to find different books that you like again. So it creates lists, not necessarily based on your likes, but on other things. So best books of the month for September, different giveaways, top reviews of different books, new releases in young adult. So you can see kind of the best books that are out right now. And under Explore, if you look at Listopia, Goodreads is a wonderful site to have great lists of different things you might like. So historical fiction, hidden gems of historical fiction, and users vote on these lists. So it's not just some publishing company that puts it out. It is going to be all the users who are on Goodreads. So we have paranormal and fantasy romances, YA novels of 2014, tons of other different types of lists, little known dystopias. So based on whatever you like, you can probably find a list that matches it and read some books based off of that. Books that should be made into movies. That might be a good one. So those are my top suggestions, but there's also a lot more ways you can find books that you like. So here are some sites. I'm going to pull them all up here and then we'll talk about them. So these are 4 different sites that might help you figure out what you want to read. One is literaturemap.com. This one's cool because you can type in the name of an author that you like. Oops, John Green, not Grisham. And it pops up with similar authors all around. So the closer the author is to your author, the more similar their styles or content or something about them are. So you can look at that author and then you say, I really like John Green, so let me see if I like Jay Asher or Maureen Johnson, and you can look up books by them and see if you like them. Maybe you don't have a specific author, but you have a specific book you like, so what should I read next is good for that. This one you can type in a book. So let's see. And when you find your book, it'll pull up lists of books that you should read next. So I did Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas, and it brought up different books that I should try next. It gives me the book and the author. All of these it'll let you pull up on Amazon, but of course you could go to our library website and see if we have them in, and often we do. If you want the exact same thing as what should I read next, except you want a bearded man to tell you about it, you can try bookseer.com. I've just finished reading Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. What should I read next? And usually it'll give you a couple lists. Right now it's just doing from Amazon, but it'll show you some other books that you might want to read after reading Sarah J. Maas's book. And finally, one that does something a little bit different that I think is really cool is books and authors. So this one divides it up more by genre, and you can see there's fantasy, historical fiction, horror, tons of different genres, but what's best is that it goes into specifics. So under, let's say, mystery, there are specific mini genres underneath it. So it could be a mystery, child in peril. So this is a mystery and it must have something to do with a child being in trouble. Or let's see, black magic mystery. Or alternate universe mystery. So, or alternate universe horror, you can find tons of different ones in here. And of course, after you find one that maybe you like, you can go to our library website and see if we have it in. So that was just a really quick view of the resources you had. Here's a works cited for that information you want to look at. And so if you have any other questions, please make sure to tweet me, HVA Cunningham, email me, and we will post this Prezi so you have all the links at my Twitter and at the HVA Health Science Twitter. So please take the time to look for a book you might actually like.